good, guys? Alex back again with another highly requested video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to mix or level your beats from start to finish to get that YouTube producer type vibe, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I'm just going to get right into it. For this video I'm going to have different sections since there's a lot to consider when mixing. But the first and one of the most important steps to getting a clean mix is your sound selection. When it comes to your sound selection, you always want to make sure you are using like good high quality sounds from like good drum kits. And if you guys are looking for a good drum kit with like tons of sounds that your favorite producers use, be sure to check out the link in my bio to cop my new drum kit. The beat that I'll be mixing today is using sounds from my kit, so you guys can get a preview of how everything sounds. But let's actually get into mixing the beat. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is work on cleaning up the melody a little bit. With my instruments, I go over this in all my other tutorials. Like, I put the reverb and stuff on. I'm just gonna show you guys that real quick. I turn up the size and the mod knob, and then to clean it up though, you put a parametric EQ too. I do a 40 hertz cut, and then this is like a really important step. You're gonna want to like listen to your sound. Like, you gotta really pay attention. Don't go off like what I'm doing, or don't go off numbers. You want to listen to it and cut back like enough low end to the point where it cleans up your mix. You might not even hear it, like you might not even hear a difference, but it's going to clean up your mix. And then when you throw like your 808s and stuff on there, they won't clash with like the low end from any of your instruments. So here's how to do that. And I just cut off like a tiny bit. Like, you don't want to change your sound, because if you cut off too much low end, for this it's a piano, if you cut off too much low end out of your like melody instruments, it's gonna sound like flat. It's not gonna have much character. So you do want to leave some low end in there, but you want to cut off enough to the point where it's gonna clean up your mix. So I'm gonna do that for every instrument here and then get back to you guys. Alright, now that we have the melody cleaned up a bit, we can move on to the next step, and that's going to be the sound design and the transient shaping of your drums. And this is a pretty important step. It definitely plays a huge part in cleaning up your mix overall. And I'm going to solo out the hi-hats, and I'm going to start with those. And you're going to want to click on it so you get the screen open, and then play around with the quick fade out knob. This is how it sounds without like any adjustment. It doesn't sound like tight, like it's like not ideal, I guess. Like, it's not crisp, not tight. So I turn this up just like maybe like 20-25%, and here's how that sounds now. You'll definitely notice like a pretty big difference. It cleans up your sound a lot, and it's gonna like overall you'll notice it in the end of the mix. It overall helps with like not like bad frequencies. I don't even know really what you would want to call it. It just makes it sound like very clean and tight. And then the other instrument that I like to do it to is the 808, and this is like a huge important step. Like, if your 808 sample's looking like this, they might like overlap each other, and it's gonna sound pretty bad, like, not even gonna lie. So I usually turn this up between like 25-30% maybe. It kind of really depends on the beat, but once you do that, I'm going to keep it at like 30%. You want to make sure you go to this cut self button, and that will make sure your 808s don't overlap when you play them throughout the beat. And it's just another one of those like small things that will help you overall clean up your mix. Okay, so once you're done with like the sound design and the shaping of your drums, the next step is going to be to EQ them. If you're using good quality sounds, you really don't have to EQ them too much, but sometimes it is important to cut the low end off your drum sample so it doesn't interfere with like other frequencies. Like with these sounds, they're gonna be good. You really don't have to, but I'm just gonna cut off like a little bit. It wouldn't be like enough to like even notice it, but it'll definitely help overall. So I'm gonna start off with cutting a little bit of low end off the hi-hats. And we're just going to open up parametric EQ2, 40 hertz cut, and then I'm just going to bring it back like just a little bit. I don't want to like mess with the sound. You want it to sound like the same, but also cutting off like a little bit of the frequency, if that makes sense. Yeah, and that should be good because then your 808 is going to be hitting around right here, and you don't want any frequencies messing with that, or else your mix won't sound clean. So I don't really do it with too many of the drums, to be honest. I mean, I kind of just did it with the hi-hat as an example, just so you guys can figure it out. But sometimes, like the hat, like the open hats, hi-hats, perks, sometimes they need that stuff. I don't really do it on too much else, but it's kind of all depending off the drum samples that you guys are using. Also, another thing you guys can do to get your hats sounding kind of better is add some reverb to them. And I just put free reverb too. Turn the size knob up, turn the wet maybe like 10%. And you definitely don't want to overdo this because it's going to sound pretty bad if you have too much reverb on them. But it kind of gives it like a little bit more character, if you know what I mean. You know, it's nothing too crazy, but it definitely sounds kind of better than if they're just kind of plain. Okay, so this next step is the one that might take the most time for some people, and that's actually going to be leveling the beat. And for this, really all you have to do is just turn everything up.
Turn it up!
Nah, I'm just joking. It's a pretty easy process though. You really just got to practice it and kind of develop an ear for what sounds good. And a good way to practice leveling is to have like a little leveling cheat sheet. So if you want to pause this part of the video, I'm going to put up something that shows how I mix my beats and what levels I put everything. So feel free to screenshot that if you'd like. And this is the way I kind of learned how to mix. I would just go off these numbers as like a reference point and work off that. And I mean, obviously for different beats you're going to want to level accordingly, but it really all depends on the style and the sound you're working with, and ultimately what gets your mix sounding best. So right now I'm going to go through and level all these sounds, and I'm going to do it on the channel rack, and it's a process called gain staging. Instead of doing it on the mixer, I would recommend doing it on the channel rack, but whatever sounds best for you guys, whatever you prefer. So I'm going to get into that right now. Alright guys, I just finished leveling my beat. I'm going to play that right now. And then once you have your beat leveled and sounding good, the final step is going to be the master channel plugins. And I keep it pretty simple on my master channel. Some people like to overcomplicate it. All I do is add Fruity Soft Clipper, and I don't change any of these knobs, I just leave it plain. And then I put a Fruity Parametric EQ. And with the Parametric EQ, you kind of just want to go through and listen to your beat and boost these three knobs for the high end. And I'm going to do that right now. I'll show you what to do. Just the thing with this is that you kind of want to go based off what sounds good, just like everything else. So make sure you listen to your beat and boost accordingly. Yeah, that's about it. I think that's pretty good. And yeah, that's really it. It's a pretty easy process. Like I said before, you just gotta keep practicing. It comes natural. Once you do it a bunch of times, it's pretty easy. And another tip I can give you guys for mixing is when you are mixing your beats, listen to other producers' beats for like a reference track. That's something that I used to do. It definitely helps out a lot. This way you can get an idea of like, okay, are my hi-hats too loud, my 808 too loud? That's definitely one of the things that can help out a lot. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also make sure you hit that notification bell. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.